Ladies and gentlemen, Jason Dempsey.
I'm happy to be here, though, on behalf of the Center for Veteran Transition and Integration. Last year we served over 57,000 veterans at some point during their transition, and more importantly, we have about 9,000 higher ed professionals to figure out how it better serve you all in your educational journeys. First and foremost, I want to thank Jennifer and Victor on Cornell's Executive MBA program, and Francois and August for the CEPA program for pulling this crowd and this program together. This is not an easy thing to do. I want to thank all of you all here in attendance, right? So your presence here suggests an expectation of yourself, right, to do better, to seek out opportunity, and to engage your community on the way. Well, that's a great thing. I want to take a short time to address the tension that is present in and really the central challenge of every transition. And that's simply the challenge of what to do with your veteran identity. How do you move past it? Now, I'm not talking about moving past the bars, backpacks, detachable belts, and backyard huts, although those are important steps. I'm talking about how you think about your veteran identity and how it fits in both who you are and who you want to become. And this is a challenge because we live in a society that celebrates veteran status. In some ways, it celebrates a stereotype of veteran status that often doesn't match reality. Now, of course, this is better than the alternative, but there is such thing as too much is a good thing. But there comes a point, the point at which you expect or demand those tokens of appreciation, where it becomes harder to claim the mantle of service, and in fact runs counter to the very idea of service and democracy. To best highlight that conundrum, I like to refer to a poem that often circulates around Veterans Day. I used to get it via email chains. Now, enough of the I'm sure your generation doesn't answer email. Often it went over to Facebook. I know you're not on Facebook. I don't know what you guys are on. TikTok, Snapchat, whatever. It's good that you're not on Facebook, so you probably didn't see this from your aunt. But let me read you a few lines of this poem in case you missed it. The poem goes, "It is the soldier, not the minister, who has given us freedom of religion. It is the soldier, not the reporter, who has given us freedom of press. It is the soldier, not the poet, who has given us freedom of speech." Yada yada, it goes on like that for a few more stanzas, and then it ends with, "It is the soldier who salutes the flag, who serves beneath the flag, and whose coffin is draped by the flag, who allows the protester to burn the flag." Now, no doubt that poem was written with the intent to honor veterans in their service, but there are really two very problematic aspects of that poem. The first is this idea the soldier gives rights, or the soldier allows for things like free expression. It's an interesting conceit, right, that elevates the military to a place beyond where it makes decisions of how to protect the nation, and places it in a privileged position of being above the things that are worth protecting. And this language of giving implies a key role in deciding what makes our society worth protecting. And I think most of us, having seen what some of our fellow service members think about culture or the way they view politics, I mean, frankly, it's just batshit crazy to elevate veterans to be making those kind of decisions about society. But for scary as that portion of this is, the more problematic part of the poem is the poem's implication of difference. It is written as if the artist, the poet, the minister, the protester, and the soldier are all different people, or as if those are our most salient identities. Lost in that message is that there's a much more powerful common identity that ties all that together, and that all of us share as citizens. Your challenge in this is to remember, being a veteran is not an instinct, but one component of a collective effort to build and protect something better. It isn't about self-adoration. It is about building a better country. Soldiering is an important aspect of that, but ultimately it's only one small component. And under our role, under the obligations we share as citizens, needs to be a conviction to be the best that we can be, beyond just a veteran. You need to be the best artist or poet, the best minister, the best business person. My God, absolutely yes. We even need veterans. Will you be protesters? Indeed, we need you to find a path that makes you the best overall citizens to ensure that the next generation of soldiers, say those air and Brady guardians, actually have something worth fighting for. Because it isn't up to them, they're merely there to protect. It's up to you to decide what is worth protecting. So today's assembly was a wonderful thing at figuring out your goals. Use it, tap into this tribe. You know how you drop? From the esoteric to some more mundane matters. Let me be clear. Being in this tribe is wonderful, but the surest indicator of failure is if you have reached the end of your academic journey and this remains your only tribe. If you're studying photography, I would submit your mission is not to become a great veteran photographer, but a great photographer will also have to stay a veteran. And there's a key distinction there. So I say is use each other, move amongst each other, use that trust you gain for mutual service, but also have the hard conversations about moving forward. Because honestly, that's about the only thing you can do, and it won't be easy. Right? One of the hardest things I have to tell veterans in transition is, yes, congratulations, you did hard things in the military, but sadly that doesn't mean the rest of your life is easy. It just means you know how you learn things. I know that sucked, right? I wish every day from here on out was free meals, free beers, and a lifetime of bats on back. That ain't it. And knowing you, the fact you're here, it would actually really suck if we lost that potential and you settled into that kind of life. So we have to get over that and then move on to your next chapter. You sad alternative not wanting to settle, right? Sitting around feeling sorry for yourself, waiting for a zombie apocalypse so you can put your mad bayonet skills to use, right? Wanting to be useful again. And I'm joking, kinda, right? We don't know that guy or gal stuck in that place. And your obligation is not only to not be that person, but to have hard conversations with those who are stuck in that place. As much as you have an obligation to continue to move forward as citizens, you also have the obligation to help those who are stuck solely in being veterans. It isn't easy, but thankfully, you're not the first. You're not the last to grapple with this transition. Rather, you're joining with a long string of former service members. Think about how to continue to contribute to the nation as citizens. If you go all the way back to the beginning, the words of George Washington, what he wrote, does not know army at the end of the Revolutionary War. Now, you've studied history. You know it wasn't all sunshine and roses. Many had fought without pay. They lost their businesses and farms. There's a reason we talk about sunshine and patriots. Because there are those who are fighting and sacrificing and losing, while people at home weren't pulling their fair share. There was even a point in 1783 where all the military, a lot of the military, said, you know what, we're tired of this. We need to go march and get our pay. We need to take force of Congress and tell them we're serious about getting our money. Washington shut that down. It was called the Newburgh Rebellion. I hope you read about it, because it was Washington refusing the easy path and making a commitment to be part of a democracy as citizens, right? Not bringing force to bear on this young basis democracy, but agreeing that oftentimes there's going to be messy. And remembering that service didn't mean you're always paid openly and fairly, but that you actually maybe sacrificed, maybe unjust, for the citizens for the nation you served, and you never chose to destroy it. So as he was leading command, he wrote in his farewell address to the troops, he said, "It's earnestly recommended to all the troops that with strong attachments to the Union, they should carry with them into civil society the most conciliating dispositions, and that they should prove themselves not less virtuous and useful as citizens than they have been persevering and victorious as soldiers." Now you fast forward about 150 years or so, and you get to the words of General John Wainwright. For those who don't know John Wainwright's story, he was left behind in the Philippines. He was given the task of commanding American forces on the Philippines as MacArthur fled the Japanese onslaught. And for that, he spent the next several years in Japanese prison camps. Ultimately awarded the Medal of Honor for service during those years. And if anyone had the right to spend the rest of his life on his ass celebrating his veteran status, it was him. But instead, he had a different view. And he articulated that in his letter to all personnel being discharged from the Army of the United States. wherein he said, back in civilian life, you will find that your generation will be called upon to guide their country's destiny. Opportunity for leadership is yours. The responsibility is yours. Start being a leader as soon as you put on your study clothes. And we know what that generation did. They built a new middle class, world's greatest economy, launched the careers of future presidents like Carter, Ike, Kennedy, and also seeded the civil rights movement with great Americans as Medgar Evers, Scott Abernathy, James Meredith. They fulfilled their following obligations as citizens. Now, most recently, in 2015, a letter signed by all the chairs of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, they made a call to continued service in which they said, even out of uniform, you still have a role in providing for the security and sustained health of our workers. No matter what you choose to do in your next chapter, you will continue to make a difference. The opportunity for leadership is yours. So, if you thought I was going to end this talk with a big old thank you for your service, you clearly haven't been listening to the end of this. And I'm not going to say, I'll leave that for Applebee's, Dory Crowns, and tomorrow's parade. But what I will say is thank you for the hard work here, Doc. Remember your tribe. Use this tribe of veterans. Help each other out. But remember, we need you to be so much more than veterans. We need you to be citizens who at one point served as veterans. That's the only way of ensuring the American meets the ideals that you signed up to defend. Your country needs you, and good luck. Get after it.
Thank you, Jason.